All right, cool, we're back. It looks like I have one viewer, and that viewer is probably Brett. Hey, Brett. Cool. So we're going to be doing OSPF Router ID for NetworkLessons.com. Each OSPF router selects a router ID that has to be unique on your network. OSPF stores the topology of the network in its link state database, and each router is identified with its unique router ID. If you have duplicate router IDs, then you'll run into reachability issues. Because of this, two OSPF routers with the same router ID will not become neighbors, but you could still have duplicate router IDs in the network with routers that are not directly connected to each other. OSPF uses the following criteria to select the router ID. One is you can manually configure it. Two is going to be the highest IP address on your loopback interface. And three is the highest IP but on a non-loopback interface. So I guess for this lesson we have a topology of just one router, so I'm not going to port this over to GNS3 because it's way too simple. Alright, so R1, looks like we have four interfaces that are up. What is it? If it comes to loopbacks, then loopback 1 will have the highest IP. And if it comes to non-loopback interfaces, it'll be Fast Ethernet 01 that has the highest IP. So the author configures OSPF without any configurations, no network commands, and when he does a show command to check the router ID with show IP protocols, we'll see that the loopback 1 interface becomes the loopback 1 IP address becomes the router ID because it's the highest. So if we delete both loopback interfaces, then the router ID doesn't change. This is because the router ID selection is only done once. You have to reset OSPF in order for it to select a new one. So to reset OSPF, you do clear IP OSPF process, and if you do that, it'll take on FA01's IP address because it's the higher of these two, and that's confirmed right here or verified. And then lastly, we have the method where you manually set the router ID, and yeah, if you do this, it looks like you don't have to clear OSPF unless he did it without telling us. Alright, I think that's when your router doesn't have any neighbors, then OSPF will immediately change the router ID if you use the router ID command. When you do have neighbors, you will have to reset the OSPF process. Oh, thanks for making clear. I think that is it. I will start up another session with the next lesson on OSPF packets and neighbor discovery. Thank you for watching.